I could not have written Ready Player One if I had not grown up on a steady diet of Steven Spielberg movies. It would have been a different story, or I might not have written it at all. His work is woven into the fabric of my life. Everybody, I think, who dreams of making movies dreams of getting to work with him. It's a dream come true.
How far are you going?
About 30 years.
Back to the Future.
Shortly after the 8.8 magnitude quake, the volcano in the Kamchatka Peninsula burst out with lava. Klushevskaya Sopka has an elevation of over 15,000 feet. Scientists had anticipated the eruption for some time, with the volcano's crater filling with lava for weeks and the mountain emitting plumes of ash.
Both Russia and Ukraine must negotiate a ceasefire and durable peace. It is time to make a deal. President Trump has made clear this must be done by August 8th. The United States is prepared to implement additional measures to secure peace.
One sunny afternoon, Nikola Tesla was in his Houston Street laboratory in Manhattan. He was experimenting with oscillators, which are electronic devices used to emit sound waves and even vibrations. He attached the little device to a support beam in his lab that ran the length of the building. He switched it on and started to gradually adjust the frequency it was emitting until, bingo, the beam started to vibrate. He had found the resonant frequency of the column. The test was proving to be a success. He started to feel a vibration in the floor as the sound wave traveled down the length of the beam and spread under his feet.
Fans at Taylor Swift's Scotland concerts in Edinburgh last weekend danced so hard they actually set off earthquake monitors. Seismic activity was recorded up to 6 kilometres away during the 3 gigs, with 70,000 fans attending every night. According to readings, seismic activity reached its peak during the song Ready For It. So it might not just be the jumping around, that'd be that heavy bass line as well. Smash Hits, Cruel Summer, Champagne Problems and Shake It Off also triggered some significant activity, putting it mildly.
He increased the intensity on the knob. It was just a quiver. But his downstairs neighbor began to notice his ceiling shaking. The other neighbors thought it was a heavy truck banging down the street. But the shaking persisted and grew stronger and stronger.
Fear spread across Rome after people felt shaking near the historical site Circus Maximus, but it wasn't an earthquake. It was a Travis Scott concert, and fans jumping so vigorously there that the ground shook to the equivalent of a magnitude 1.3 earthquake. The Circus Maximus has held several concerts this summer, and now people are wondering if it's safe to hold music venues at that ancient site after all that shaking.
Wow.
You don't want to see the walls come tumbling down during your show, do you?
The vibrations spread across the entire floor of the laboratory and into the neighboring buildings. Some of the locals in Little Italy and Chinatown began spilling onto the streets, thinking an earthquake was happening. The trembling was incessant and horrific, causing windows to shatter, pipes to stretch. The local police on Mulberry Street, they felt it too. An earthquake in New York City? Impossible. The police station was right around the corner from Tesla's lab, and they were all too familiar with the strange lights and sounds which would happen throughout the day and night from that building. As the ground shook, furniture was moving, pipes were breaking, and the officers thought the police headquarters was about to collapse. 2 police rushed out the door toward Tesla's lab. They reached his building. The vibrations felt even stronger there. They ran up the stairwell, facing the fear that the building might collapse on them. As they burst through the door to Tesla's lab, they were met with a bizarre sight. Tesla, swinging a heavy sledgehammer at one of the iron beams, he smashed the little device off, and the vibrations instantly stopped. No more earthquake.
Oh. Rock and roll.
Tesla was surprised to see the 2 uniformed police officers just staring at him in shock. He approached them with the sledgehammer still in his hands and said, "Gentlemen, I'm sorry, but you are just a trifle too late to witness my experiment. I found it necessary to stop it suddenly and unexpectedly in an unusual manner, just as you entered. If you will come around this evening, I will have another oscillator attached to this platform, and each of you can stand on it. You will, I am sure, find it a most interesting and pleasurable experience. Now, you must leave, for I have many things to do. Good day, gentlemen." Apparently, Tesla was completely oblivious to the near destruction he had caused in the neighboring buildings and the neighborhood.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. The Hebrew name, it's the Lion Gate, and you can see, and you can see why there's 2 lions each side of. Another thing, the name, the Christian name for it is St. Stephen Gate. So Stephen, yeah, Stephen went out. Oh, yeah. Muslim name is St. Mary Gate. Yeah. Maria. Because the Muslims believe in the Holy Family and they actually worship the tomb of Mary. Yeah. Yeah. They worship the tomb of Mary, then in that case you can understand why it's so important. Then let's go into the city. And as you can see, the people are coming to pray and it's like a market time. The wall, oh yes. There's no reason to die today. The walls are from the 16th century, then the doors are from the 16th century too. Now, look to your left side. You can see the Muslims entering into the Temple Mount. Be careful! yeah, I know. Then you can see the Muslims are going in to pray. But we are going to...
peculiar place to have a party. You know, Dino, we really shouldn't be doing this. After all, we haven't been invited, and curiosity often leads to trouble. Goodbye, Dino. Goodbye.
Welcome back to the Daily Report. I'm Lindsay Reiser. Catholics across the U.S. are celebrating the election of Pope Leo XIV, the first ever American-born pope. The 69-year-old was born in Chicago and spent a large portion of his life in Peru. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has more on his historic election.
The joy here at the Vatican was universal as we watched a 69-year-old American become the leader of a church with 2,000 years of history. This conclave ended in just 2 days when the world got the news with that puff of white smoke. White smoke billowed from the Sistine Chapel, a signal the Cardinals had elected a new pope. The crowd in St. Peter's Square erupted in cheers, then waited in suspense for the announcement.
Habemus Papam.
Habemus Papam. We have a pope, and the world's first look at the new pontiff. Emerging from St. Peter's Basilica, Robert Prevost becomes the first American pope in history, taking the name Leo XIV. His first words, "Peace be with you all."
La pace sia con tutti voi.
Leo, where are you? Leo, save the day. Leo, come to our rescue.
Part 40 of The Beginning of Masonry by Frank C. Higgins. The Lion in Freemasonry. The several allusions to the King of Beasts that was encountered in our Masonic ritual are generally accepted as exclusively biblical. This is not, however, the fact. The great significance of the lion and all manner of symbolic associations date from the first inception of the zodiacal system of measuring the heavens and timing the great astronomical cycles, which appointed the sign of a lion, fiercest and most redoubtable of beasts, as that of the summer solstice, the moment of the year's most adherent solar vigor. Speaking as astrologers are wont to express these things, the sign of the lion is the house of the sun, and the terms have thus came to be particularly synonymous. It is interesting to Masons who carry the lion of the tribe of Judah as one of the armorial quarterings of their royal arch banner, and on the seals of many grand lodges, to know that the current Masonic date is arrived at by adding the numbers of the year BC, approximately the true number being 3,995, at which the summer solstice entered the sign of the lion, to the year AD in which we happen to be.
One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
It's a tale of courage.
See, I told you he'd come in handy.
Friendship. And the circle of life. The Lion King.
Prevost is seen as a progressive on many social issues. Overall, he's viewed as a centrist. Like Pope Francis, Prevost has spent time embracing marginalized groups like the poor. He has dual citizenship between the U.S. and Peru, where he served for years. This is an extraordinary moment for American Catholics, seeing Leo XIV on the balcony, the first pope born in the United States, who is now spiritual leader for nearly 1.5 billion people.
There is a trending retweet of yours. You retweeted somebody from Il Duce 2016. It was a Mussolini quote, but you didn't know it was Mussolini when you retweeted. It said, "It is better to live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep." That's a famous Mussolini quote. You retweeted it. Do you like the quote? Did you know it was Mussolini?
It's okay to know it's Mussolini. Look, Mussolini was Mussolini. It's okay to. It's a very good quote. It's a very interesting quote, and I know it. I saw it. I saw what, and I know who said it, but what difference does it make whether it's Mussolini or somebody else? It's certainly a very interesting quote.
Well,
that's probably why I have
is a
between
known
Facebook
fascist.
and Twitter 14 million people,
Do you
and
want
other
to be
people don't.
You want to be
It's a very
associated?
interesting quote, and people can talk about it.
You want to be associated with a fascist?
No, I want to be associated with interesting quotes. And people, I have almost 14 million people between Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of that. Right. And we do interesting things. And I sent it out. And certainly, hey, it got your attention, didn't it?
He's the least American. I mean, that's, I think, what made him electable.
As crowds rushed into the square, a surge of emotion caught up with Tammy Harper.
It's just everything. Once in a lifetime. It is a once in a lifetime, and for us to be here in this moment. Just so blessed and grateful.
For the crowds watching and waiting, it was a once-in-a-lifetime thrill. What are you hoping for in the man that comes out on that balcony?
Peace, kindness, humanity.
I, William, Prince of Wales, pledge my loyalty to you, and faith and truth I will bear unto you, as your liege man of life and limb.
In the seconds before the white smoke, a baby bird tested its legs next to the chimney, a classic symbol of rebirth as the Catholic Church begins a new chapter. Here in Rome, the new pope is known as the Latin Yankee. He is an American, but undoubtedly a man of the world.
So help me God.
I think he's mindful of history and won't do anything extraordinary, but I think he's also very much more a man of the modern age and of the people than any previous monarchs.
I think when William becomes king, God willing that he does become king, he will be very much more modern, and I think he'll be much more the people's king.
Please welcome Chief Justice Roberts to administer the presidential oath of office.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have pen and paper because I'm going to explain to you something
that you weren't aware of, but that you should be aware of. It will demonstrate the degree of propaganda and preparation that those who are bringing about the New World Order are engaged in order to prepare the public. And a good portion of it, ladies and gentlemen, is aimed directly at the children of the world. If you took your children to see The Lion King, you will be especially interested in tonight's broadcast. For tonight, I'm going to give you the true meaning of that movie, and I'm going to tell you exactly what was taught to your children. Even though they may not realize it, even though they may not understand it at their tender age, and even though most of the parents in the world who have attended the showing of The Lion King had no idea whatsoever what it was that they were watching, tonight you're going to find out. And when you do find out, I can assure you, most of you will be angry.
Fleeky anoints the head of Simba at the start of the movie, and actually they're very, very clever with these things, because not only does he anoint the head, because what he anoints the head with, actually it shows a very brief second, subliminal, that he's cracking open the sun. Just take a look at it. It's in the first while of the first 10-20 minutes of The Lion King.
Namaste. Namaste.
Now, the time has come for us to select one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
We have been taught lies. Reality is not at all what we perceive it to be. We cannot survive any longer by hanging on to the falsehoods of the past. Reality must be discerned at all costs if we are to be a part of the future.
He breaks open, gets the oil, the anointing out of that. And to cut a long story short, they believe Simba's dead. He ends up in a barren land with Timon and Pumbaa. Then there's water in the barren land. He grows up and returns as the promised one.
Simba? He's alive! He's alive! It is time!
Right, so the reason I'm covering this really is not just to expose that this movie is full of occult symbolism and satanic ritualistic magic and indoctrination of young children. We already know that. That's just a given, unfortunately now. We're accepting that that is the standard. But this has got some really interesting clues as to the elitist plan and how they work with the Hegelian dialectic, which is just the same thing again. Scar is that Satan, evil dragon, and Simba, or the Lion King side, is the golden. It's both the same beast. Obviously, they're all lions, they're all beasts, right? So they're both the same beast, and often you'll see Scar attributed with the moon in it. At some points he's like the capstone with the moon behind him, and then you'll get the other side, which is the sun. So it's just 69. It's infinity. It's all part of the same beast, and that is the trick. That's one of the biggest tricks in the book. If you can understand that, you understand their methodology. So this whole thing is a completely Hegelian battle, and something that really woke me up whilst watching The Lion King the other night is exactly the method they are using to deceive people, even the truth movement. And what they're doing is they want people to think that the New World Order is satanic. Now, I'm going to redefine what I just said there, because that may sound very strange to you, but I believe this is the truth. They want you and the masses to believe that this system needs to be disbanded. This system is wicked, which it is anyway, of course, but it's Hegelian. So Scar is, I'll show you in a second, is in his song Be Prepared. He is singing about this New World Order and posing as a Hitler-type figure with Nazi soldiers, and that's what they want you to think. They want you... This is why the controlled truth movement are pushing and pushing and pushing, saying, this is satanic. The elite are satanic. They are evil. This system is evil. Why is that? Because they want you to accept the Son, as in the Lion King, as in Lucifer, as opposed to Satan, the false love and the false peace. They want you to root for whatever good comes along to defeat this evil system.
Whitcomb got him an Applewhite, Bibbin and Black. Oh, yes, Mr. Bibbin. You'd like to talk to Mr. Applewhite? Yes, sir, he's in. I'll connect you. Whitcomb got him an Applewhite, Bibbin and Black. Oh, yes, long distance. How are you? Mr. Whitcomb, I have your San Francisco call for you. Yes, Mr. Bibbin? Oh. Did I connect you with Mr. Gutterman instead of Mr. Applewhite? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Bibbicum. Bib. Oh, Mr. Applewhite, what are you doing in that hole with Mr. Gutterman?
Zuckerberg said he also wants to use Samsung's technology to drive 360-degree video content.
So, over the last year, we've been working to make Facebook the best platform for 360 videos. And video is already some of the most engaging content that you'll see online. There are already, every day, more than 100 million hours of video content are watched on Facebook. But 360 videos are even more immersive. Because you aren't just watching passively, you feel like you're actually there.
Imagine every human on Earth connected. In thought. In feeling.
Yeah, that's me.
In real time.
She's here. Can you see her? Beatrice Murray.
Welcome to the feed, where our shared experience...
It's just an enhancement.
Show me.
...is now a reality.
Something's wrong.
I think her feed did something to her brain.
The wrong hands, it could tear us apart.
AT&T is creating a 5G network that will change the world. It will be everything you imagined, and everything that hasn't been imagined yet.
How far into the future did you go?
Closer than you think.
That's the power of and.
beyond you and I.
Your parents never told you the truth. There is a sea ahead and an army behind! Ready yourselves!
From the eternal sea he rises, creating armies on either shore, turning man against his brother, till man
Manny, remember those implants you said were of no use to us? Any chance you can turn them on?
Right, when I turn to play, Valentine.
Oh no,
I can't stop this. Yes, please.
Stay to the rhythm, please stay to the rhythm. Stay to the rhythm, 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 please stay to the rhythm. Please stay to the rhythm, please stay to the rhythm. Stay to the rhythm, 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 please stay to the rhythm. Please stay to the rhythm, please stay to the rhythm. Stay to the rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. She said that she
The Herculean king, Hyperion, has declared war on all of humanity. I will end the reign of the gods.
if there is one human who could lead them against Hyperion, it would be Theseus. He does not fear danger. He fears only the failure to defend his freedom.
Gods have given me vision. I cannot change the future. You can.
Seal the gates and prepare for war. Now I unleash the Titans. Regal King! Prove me right.
She feels just right until the sea. The crack of dawn and quick is food now. Can't take too long, but it's just stay to the rhythm. Please stay to the rhythm. Please stay to the rhythm. Stay to the rhythm. Rhythm, rhythm. Please stay to the rhythm. Please stay to the rhythm.
hours ago, we learned of a deadly virus that threatens the lives of the citizens of Spokane.
Tess, thanks for getting here so fast. This is Dr. Martin. She's a specialist with the Global Health Organization. We have 3 new cases, all presenting the same acute flu-like symptoms, but they're not responding to any of the treatment.
She's gonna be dead by the time I get the results back.
You must have some initial thoughts of what it could be.
It could be anything, from the avian flu to the bubonic plague.
We're not going to quarantine a whole town until we know what we're dealing with.
Find the source, make the diagnosis, and you'll have your quarantine.
We're counting on you.
The quicker you tell me what you know, the faster I can help all these people. Professor Dylan Corbin. I saw him after he came back from a trip, and he wasn't well. They say he's been dead 2-3 days. Got a mosquito bite on him, and he's been to Malaysia. It's the plague.
Professor Corbin bring back more than just his luggage from Malaysia?
Are you following me?
There's more going on here than you know, Dr. Martin. They're putting something in the jet fuel that's making people sick.
Why would they want to do that?
Keller makes a chemical called E901. When we get the E901 and we compare it with the jet fuel, maybe you can help us figure out what's hurting people.
Whatever he told you is totally erroneous.
Patients are not responding to the antibiotics. Everyone's immune systems are completely shot.
But the plague doesn't do that.
No, I know, but I think it's why they're not responding to the antibiotics.
So what, do we misdiagnose this?
No. Have you ever heard of chemtrails?
They always start with a kind of storm, like a real powerful storm. And there's always this dark, thick rain, like fresh motor oil. Storm started, something happened. His face, his eyes were different.
By the time they tried to evacuate the cities, it was already too late. The infection was everywhere.
This isn't past tense on the plague of bad things. Couldn't be eradicated like smallpox in action. Avian influenza with the jet stream is how it happens. 2020 combined with coronavirus, body stacking.
The world is now at the start of the influenza pandemic.
It started as writing. It was in the street outside. It was coming through your windows.
Sequence the virus and determine its origin.
It was a virus. Something in the blood.
A virus which has been engineered at genetic level to be helpful rather than harmful.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord, oh Lord, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord.
Exists no more. The Book of Revelations predicted it all. It is by means of a human personality entirely in his possession that Satan will wage his last formidable offense.
I came to tell you, something is coming. That is far beyond you and I.
It's gonna rain after a while, for 40 days and for 40 nights. And the people that believe it, and they begin to laugh at it, and they begin to mock it, and they begin to say, it ain't gonna rain.
To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors.
Modulating frequencies now.
It's time. Let's light it up.
Okay, Neville.
In T-minus 3, 2, 1. Ready to launch. Hit the button.
Here we go. It's working. It's working.
Nationwide 5G is live.
Yeah. And we're just getting started.
Wait until they see what's next.
Hi, this is John in Los Angeles. It's October 22nd, 2017, about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm at a park in Dominguez, California here. That was a little religious ceremony they got going down there. So I'm looking around the park, and I'm looking at this. Look at this. This is a microwave cell tower, guys, right out in the open where anybody can walk up to it. People are being hit by it that are playing in the park and all this stuff. And I'm gonna show you the signs here, wide open. Look at this. You can freeze frame the video if you want to read some of this. I won't stay on it too long, but just take a look at this. Look at this. Yeah, you really want to salute this. They're microwaving the piss out of us all, and they're disguising it as this. This is what they do. They put the flag on things so you trust it. Well, I don't trust it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Donald Trump Museum, dedicated to America's #1 citizen and America's greatest living folk hero, the one and only Donald Trump. Learn the amazing history of the Trump family.
Somebody criticized me the other day because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true. I don't care. And I guess I have some very good enemies, and I like it that way somehow, and I really believe in trashing your enemies.
Inside, you will learn how Donald Trump's father left him a large inheritance.
Nobody's going to do more women than Donald Trump. That I can tell you. That I can tell you. And I think they know it.
Discover how in 2016 Donald Trump successfully lobbied to legalize gambling.
Part of the beauty of me is that I'm very rich.
He wants to run for president and move on into the White House. Why not?
Share in the stupidity of the average American as they made him the 45th president of the United States.
That will easily go down as the greatest president in the history of the United States. Me, Donald John Trump.
No! Hey, no! Hey, wait, you coming with us upstairs? There we go, Sonny. We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
The easy way. We've all been missing, presumed dead for 5.5 years.
If you'd seen us that afternoon, we looked like a typical American family returning home from vacation. My brother Ben and his twins, Olive and Cal. But what you couldn't see is that Cal's leukemia wasn't responding to treatment.
This flight is oversold. We are offering travel vouchers for any...
That's me. So Grace and Olive and my folks took the first flight home. Funny how one little decision can ruin your life, but also save it. Excuse me, what exactly is the problem?
The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is you've all been missing, presumed dead for 5.5 years.
You haven't aged a day.
All of it.
Where's Mom?
Your mom got sick.
No, Dad. No.
Your cell regeneration model?
It works.
We've been treating pediatric patients for 30 months.
We pick up with the same regimen, right where we left off.
There's a new treatment protocol for pediatric cases. If we get a jump in the treatment, the odds are excellent.
Didn't expect you getting back to work this fast.
A lot has changed since you've been gone.
Who is she?
It was 2 years before I even looked at another woman.
Even before I got on that plane, I lost sight of your life. We're gonna fix that. I'm not going anywhere.
The universe just gave all of us a do-over.
Everything checks out. It's as if the plane never left the sky.
Do I have to say out loud that that's impossible?
I think we've taken impossible off the table.
Is your mind messing with you? Earlier today, I heard a voice in my head.
Keep it to yourself. What do you think? The government just forgot about us?
Just maybe he came back to be saved, and I came back to save him.
How'd you know I was here?
I just knew.
What is this? There were a lot of people on that plane. What makes us so special?
What's the probability it's just you and me?
No one can explain what happened to us. Some people called it impossible. Others called it a miracle. All I know is whatever force brought us all here had no interest in being investigated. This was just the beginning.
FedEx 88, broadcasting in the pond. How do you read? Tahiti Control, FedEx 88, broadcasting in the pond. Chuck.
degrees. 50 yards from impact.
Officially running for President of the United States.
And the American man here was incredibly fast.
I am officially running.
And the American man here was incredibly fast. Clear.
The Freemasons have the apotheosis of Washington in the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., of Washington becoming God, which is the same as Titus becoming God and the apotheosis. So man being God and being God, they keep repeating this. What do they want to do these days with Kurzweil, transhumanism, and all these other things? They want to make man God. Michio Kaku saying that, nanobots can replace the synaptic material of the brain until you just have a schematic brain. And in a future show, we'll get really heavy duty into the brain chips of IBM and other things of the hive mind that we have been researching for so long. But this show is specifically just to show the in plain sight rebellion of modern man through the United Nations and all these global leaders, that they are doing the same thing that the Titus Arch resents. They are going to rebel, declare themselves God, and we have no need of a God because we are our own gods. That really came home for me when I looked at this event that I became aware of off of watching a Fox News presentation called the Invictus Games. Where do we get the name Invictus from, Chris?
From the sun god, Sol Invictus.
And when is that birthday, Sol Invictus, celebrated?
December 25th.
So here we got the sun worshipers, and everybody's heard for a long time that, we've been doing the worshipers of the moon versus the worshipers of the sun. We discussed CERN being over the temple of the sun with the Apollyon, and in Jerusalem and things with the temples of the moon. There's those who worship the sun, those who worship the moon, and a lot of this stuff goes back to sun worship. Invictus Games became very interesting to me because I wasn't really aware of it. I'm not making any allusions to being disrespectful in any which ways to wounded warriors, and that's not even the topic that I'm discussing. I'm discussing the symbolism that all the men and women who serve in the armed forces and are injured and putting their lives back together, we applaud them and support them in every way we can. I just found that this one was connected to the royal family through Prince Harry, and it's a very interesting game. It's basically to support wounded warriors and give them their own athletic events and build community and support around wounded soldiers coming back home and their value and all those things, which is fine. What did you think the first time that you looked at this show, Chris?
It really bothered me for a few things. I mean, we know that Prince Harry claims that he is an inheritor of the royalties, of the royal family, and I do believe, in my opinion, that's the bloodline of Cain. But it really bothered me because it says, I am. Jesus is I am. He is the light of the world. Jesus is the great I am. And so when I keep seeing this, I'm the master of my fate, I'm the captain of my soul, it really bothered me because Jesus should be the captain of everybody's soul.
2 Corinthians 4:4 says, "In whom the God of this world," meaning Satan, "hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them."
Try not to understand, because it is impossible.
It's going to get more and more overtly occult as these things develop. I mean, Burning Man's totally in-your-face occult. I mean, that's just flat out, we're witches, we're here, we're New Age, we're here to work witchcraft. We're gathering together because there's more power. You know, this has been almost like programming that's been put into humanity's mind for a long time. Now it's more of a manifestation of this. This is just so far off the scale where this world is heading. The amount of time, effort, money that is being expended by Satan and his minions to implement his agenda.
A future that Ernest Cline, the writer of the book, envisioned. I was very careful with Ernie collaborating with me every step of the way to be able to find the movie narrative inside this dense forest of Ernie's profound imagination.
The Oasis being the ultimate toy box with all the toys in the world, and then playing that with one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. It results in just amazing action and such a fun adventure.
Ernest Cline is such a visionary, and I think has seen the future before any of us possibly could even imagine it.